Today we have an opportunity to test the German car of the year 2021, and it's from Japan. First fully electric Honda E. As always, unlike other car reviewers, I won't talk about the things you can see for yourself at the car showrooms. Instead, I briefly and clearly discuss what others choose to keep silent about, but you definitely need to know. How much you can travel with a full battery in real life, how long it will take you to charge it, and how much it would cost to purchase and operate this EV compared to the fuel-powered alternatives. By the way, OEV4ME continuously uploads videos about the latest electric cars, so subscribe to our channel, be sure to click on the bell icon to receive notifications so you don't miss the most relevant reviews for you. I'm Tadas from OEV4ME, about electric cars in a nutshell. The manufacturer offers two versions of this Honda E, the main difference being the abundance of the kit, but on the technical side they are almost identical. The advanced version is a bit more powerful, but that's it. I definitely need to mention a few exceptional details that make this electric car special. The entire front panel of Honda E is a long screen, which allows you to conveniently see the most important parameters of the electric car and also lets you to set up a virtual aquarium with a fish. Honda E does not have the usual side view mirrors. Instead, it has two cameras that transmit the image to the screens mounted on the sides of the front panel. It took a while to get used to this innovation, but even in bad weather, we had no complaints about the quality of the image. The rear-view mirror has a screen that allows you to see the image from the rear camera of the car. Given the size of the car, you can understand that this is a city car. So the four-seater Honda E does not even try to claim the highway lead. and the only offered size of 28.5 kilowatt hours net battery capacity is enough to drive swiftly through the city streets, covering up to 250 kilometers in summer and up to 160 in winter. Don't expect miracles on the highway at the highest speeds. Honda E isn't designed for that. It is unlikely to cover more than 120 kilometers on the highway during the cold season.
I really do not recommend going on the long trips with this EV, as it may require a lot of patience. I use the ABRP calculator, so you can see that the trip from London to Amsterdam with Honda E would take more than 9 hours instead of less than 6 with a conventional car. And you would spend more than a quarter of that time at charging stations, so stay in the city with this Honda E.
Honda's e-battery charging speed is really low to today's standards, but it's justified by the battery's capacity, because even if the built-in AC charging station in your home is not the fastest one, you can expect the battery to be fully charged in 5 hours.
I have to mention one technical detail that is worth knowing about charging Honda E with an AC charger. Although the maximum charging power is 6.6 kilowatts, if you use an 11 kilowatt three-phase charging station, Honda E will only accept 3.7 kilowatts, as it charges only using one phase. So 7.4 or 22 kilowatt stations are more suitable for this electric car, as they will be able to supply as much energy as Honda E can take to the maximum in one phase.
If you decide to use DC charging, bear in mind that the maximum power of 56 kilowatts declared by Honda will probably not be seen often, as the average DC charging speed will only be around 35 kilowatts. And that means you can top up 100 kilometers of the road in about half an hour. This confirms once again that this electric car is designed to be charged at home and driven in the city. Since Honda E does not have a fuel-powered version, I will compare the price to its closest relative, Honda Jazz Hybrid. And you won't be surprised to hear that electric Honda is about 10,000 euros more expensive than Honda Jazz. But if you are looking for a small city car, don't make a hasty conclusions and don't exclude the electric car from your wish list. When calculating how much it will actually cost you each month to own and maintain this car, consider these facts.
As always, I recommend calculating the total cost of ownership instead of just looking only at the initial purchase price. Evaluate the depreciation of the car over its usage time, not the fuel purchase price. In most cases, you can expect to get back at least 30% of its original value after selling the car in 5 years. Thus, taking into account the residual value of the cars and real price difference between the Honda E and the fuel-driven Jazz decreases from approximately 10,000 euros, according to the price list, to 7,000 euros. Regular maintenance costs of an electric vehicle are relatively low, because the EV has fewer moving parts that need to be serviced or replaced. Honda E is no exception. Its owners will leave around 500 euros less in the service centers than the drivers of a hybrid Jazz. Depending on the fuel and electricity prices in your country, you can save over 5,000 euros per 100,000 kilometers driven with the EV, as driving electric is almost 3 times cheaper than driving petrol-powered alternatives, at least in Lithuania. So all in all, we see that the total cost of ownership of electric Honda E for 5 years is only around 1,000 euros higher than of the hybrid Jazz. And that is before the state subsidies and grants, which differ across countries. For instance, in Lithuania, you can get up to 5,000 euros grant from the state when buying a new EV. Thus, the total cost of ownership of Honda E in Lithuania would be 4,000 euros less than that of Jazz. So it is not worth freaking out on a higher purchase price of EVs, since using it is much cheaper after all.
Wow.